why they are afraid of us holding public assembly if there is nobody supporting us and nobody agreeing with us. So the government always say, okay, you know, they are a crazy bunch of people, nobody will agree with them, don't go and listen to them. So yes, if the government is already having such a big machinery over there, saying that, asking people not to support us, then why are they still thinking that people will support us? So there must be something that is wrong in between. It's like, why do people want to watch our videos if they think that our video is not true? I mean, there are so many videos online every single day. There are so many people going to parliamentary hearing. So why don't the government go and look at every single one of them? Hey, your shirt got some issue. Hey, your shirt, your button never button properly. Those kind of things they don't want to look. But they want to look at people who are holding a piece of paper. And then they want to go and charge people who are holding protests in Singapore. And that case actually went all the way to the United Nations. So the United Nations Human Rights Committee wrote into the Singapore government. And because the UN is involved and the Singapore is a member of the UN, the Singapore government had no choice, but they have to actually reply to UN. And the Singapore government reply was that there are hundreds of protests in Singapore. Do you really hear hundreds of protests in Singapore? The answer is no. So what happened is MHUB's got this particular website. And what the government says is that there are a lot of people who applied. And all these people got approval. And therefore Singapore is democratic and we allow people to hold public assembly. Except for just us. And at that point in time, it was in 2014. And I had to raise funds on behalf of 2 other Singaporeans. This time round, they want me to raise funds on behalf of 5 other Singaporeans. So back then, they claimed that I was a leader and everyone was listening to me. So I say march, they will march. If everybody was listening to me, I don't need 6,000 people or 6 people to be charged with me, fundraise for 6 people. What I need is just 6 government policies to change, for our housing, for our healthcare, for our CPF, for our retirement, for our transportation, our education, and national service. So 6 of them: housing, healthcare, CPF, education, military, and transportation. These are the 6 policies that I think are the most important that affect Singaporeans' life. And I feel that the government should change these 6 policies first. Yeah.
Let me chime in on CPF. CPF, return CPF at 55 is one of the irrevocable principles of the political party I lead, the People's Voice. Alright? I was in a taxi this morning, and the taxi driver actually made a very good point. Because the excuse the government gave for not allow or changing its policy of CPF at 55 was that men were taking their monies to go to Batam, have mistresses there and squandering their money, right?
No, we need to clarify this point. Not every man will have 2 wives like the Prime Minister or the Law Minister. Most men in Singapore can't even get 1 wife.
Now, and the driver said, but how can that apply to a woman? But the woman also cannot withdraw the CPF at 55, right? And I said, wow, that's a good point. So, women are not going to go to Batam to find, gigolos or whatever, alright? Or a male partner. Yeah, so...
No, this part we also must clarify, okay? Not all women will lose their money in FTX. Not all women are the Prime Minister wives. So not all men will have 2 wives like the Prime Minister. And not all women will lose money like the Prime Minister wife. We need to get this clear first.
And it's very, very rare to have a young mother like you have 3 children in 4 years. Now, what was the name of this famous protest in 2014? For which you were charged and found guilty of conducting illegal protest in the only place where you can legally protest?
It was called Return Our CPF. A lot of people think that we just want back all our CPF money. But it's not wanting back all our CPF money also. Because if you just take back your CPF money now, how much money you have inside? How much interest is the government giving? So when we say that, FTX is losing money, the IB, the Internet Brigade, their first response is, just because the FTX is losing money, actually the Musings GIC is earning a lot of interest, a lot of profit, very, very high rate of returns, okay? So the thing is, if let's say they are generating such a high rate of return, and according to all other countries in this world, all other countries, they will give this return back to the people. And like Lee Kuan Yew's era, our CPF interest rate was 6.5%. So why did it drop to 2.5%? So this is the issue over there. We need to get back our CPF returns as well. If I put in $10,000, the AGC wants $20,000. If I have $20,000 inside my CPF, at a rate of 2.5%, 30 years later, what is the amount? At a rate of 6.5%, 30 years, 20 years later, what is the amount? So this is a very big difference, and because it is compounded over the years. So if let's say we have a 6.5% interest, we can actually pay off our houses early, we can retire early. But it's because they give only 2.5%, and the rest they say admin costs or whatever, they keep it in their own, to lose in FTX. Then these are the issues that we Singaporeans should raise. And these are the returns that they should return to us as well. Because if you return me my CPF money now, then what about my returns that have been inside for a long period of time?
You see, at the current interest rate, when inflation has gone up so much, interest rates have gone up so much, right? What's the interest rate today? Easily 3.5 to 4 for a property loan. So if your money is sitting in CPF earning 2.5%, actually you're losing money every year, aren't you? Your money is, losing its value, right? Now, why have they not increased the CPF rate? We should be asking that, correct? Why is it that in Malaysia, they can get 6% returns on their EPF? And why in Singapore, after so many years, are we stuck at 2.5? And we know, and MAS have finally come out to admit it, all right? In interest rates, inflation will remain high, all right? They say, well, it will moderate next year, but everyone knows inflation is going to remain high. And I have been saying this throughout this year. And when Lawrence Wong said, oh, it will moderate and all that, I laugh. Okay? I'm telling you, you go into next year and you see the inflation that is going to rage in Singapore, exacerbated by a 1% increase in GST on the 1st of January, which is 2 weeks away. Yeah?
I think there are a lot of news now. A lot of people have to buy they are moving house, collecting BTO kits. Then they say a lot of people just pay the money now because they cannot afford to pay the extra 1% next year. And not only that, I think 2 out of 5, 40% of Singaporeans cannot afford to pay their mortgages as well.
I have met so many young Singaporeans, young Singapore families. You know what they're having to do? They have to travel to JB to buy milk powder. Can you believe it? Yeah? Milk powder has become a big issue. And buying it in JB is like so much cheaper than in Singapore. So seriously, next year, you're going to talk about high inflation, high interest rates. You're going to talk about a serious problem of food as well. Yeah.
Now, Han Hui Hui, in your famous to return our CPF illegal protest when the trial started, I understand you had no lawyer, no legal representation, right? So you went to court without a lawyer, right? Okay. Now, Lim Tian, it's well known that you have done many pro bono cases, So why do you do so many pro bono cases?
Oh, well, I didn't think I had a choice because, when people turn to me, I had to help. If I was